super excited about our second episode. We're going to be talking about a new theatrical adventure that Selah Theater Project is taking on. And we've had a lot of people asking us questions about how this is going to work. What is it about? How does this make sense? There's been a lot of questions about it. So we thought we'd stop by and have a conversation with you. I am joining my co-writer, Joanna Schilling, and we are going to give you all the details about Sip and Savor. Sip and Savor is a crazy idea that we came up with together and kind of jumped on it right away. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear all of the juiciness of a live theatrical sitcom, putting it together, what it needs to gather the actors, and all of the partnerships that we're going to have during the course of the next year. So Joanna is with us now. Hi, Joanna.
Hi. Good to be here.
So Joanna, you called me one day and basically said, I may not want to be your friend anymore after you expressed this crazy idea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which, of course, perked up my ears immediately. So tell everybody what the crazy idea was.
So, what's really funny is I had shared the idea with a couple other people, non-theater people, and they were like, that feels weird. And I was like, I know the place to take this. So what happened was it was one of those, if you've ever seen the movie Working Girl, where she like has one thing happen and she has another thing happen, and then these ideas sort of come together. That's sort of what happened. In this sense, we were doing Roost Tea Room, which for folks who don't know is about a local tea room that had a really important, it played an important role in a lot of different ways in the community. It supported a lot of people. It was open to everyone. And it was very meaningful. And people would come to see the show, but they would also come to share their experiences about that place. And then at the same time, you were doing the staged reading of Ann and Emmett. And there was a talk after that as well. I wasn't in that, but I came to the reading, and it was really interesting to me. It was pre the election, and we were taught. A lot of people, there was this feeling that people wanted to talk about things that were important, and that they didn't really have a place. And I remember when we were like, they had to like kick people out of the theater because we would have talked all night, like because of how important people felt like these things were. And I got this sense, and I'm sure you probably felt that way too. It's like people are hungry for these conversations, and they're hungry for these conversations in ways that don't feel fraught and feel antagonistic, where it's like so polarized. Because I don't know that sometimes we don't treat each other in the nicest way when we have to talk about tough things. So at the same time, I am a child of the 80s, I'm a theater nerd, but TV nerd too. And I just have this love for obscure old television shows. And one of them is a show called Benson, which is sort of a precursor to, it was a spinoff of, if anyone's familiar with Soap. And it was written by the same lady who wrote The Golden Girls. And so, so I was watching it feeling very nostalgic. But the coolest thing about it was it framed some very, very serious, significant issues. Interestingly enough, issues that we're still dealing with today in ways that it didn't diminish the problems, but it made them palatable. It created a space where the main character could speak to people about his experience and these bigger, larger issues. And I just thought, wow. So the convergence of those two things, so this concept that people were hungry to talk about things, and that there is a way to respectfully talk about tough stuff in a way that is also entertaining. And so I was like, well, how weird would it be to try and do a live sitcom and then have a talk afterwards? And so I expressed this to some people, and they were like, no. And I was like, I'll take it to Blue and see what she said. And they're like, I'm super crazy, but maybe. And you were so enthusiastic. And the thing that I was like, oh my gosh, this means we have to do it, was because you had that idea like a year before, right?
Yeah. So I had the same kind of idea of doing a live sitcom, period, just a live sitcom, and making it theatrical and making it monthly.
Yeah.
And I also went to people originally, and they were like, so like, how would that work? Like, you have to wait a whole 30 days for the next episode. And of course, that was in the midst of like coming out of COVID and all of that jazz. And my brain was like, how do we keep the momentum of reaching people where they are, either through video or, because my whole thing was like, we can record it and we can send it out and people can watch it anywhere. And a lot of folks were just like, no, I don't know how I feel about that.
Right.
But there is a theater group that does it for children. So once a month on Saturdays, children can go to this theater and watch like a 30-minute, like a Bluey kind of deal, but it's with live actors and it's a new story every week. There's also another theater, and I based some of my curriculum off of them, that they do what's called, for their little children, they do little plays every Saturday. So every Saturday, the kids would come, they would start a new scene or a new skit or whatever, and then invite people to come watch it after they've put it together during that day. And I was like, that's so cool. And so that's basically where that idea stemmed from. Like, how cool will it be to get folks that may not want to sit for 2 hours for an actual play,
right,
and get them once a month to come in and watch something and get, attached to it immediately and want to come back the next time. It was a different way of reaching folks. I say this all the time. I, as a millennial, will say that we don't subscribe to anything. We make no commitments other than Hulu and Netflix.
Yeah.
And our cell phone bill, right? So a lot of theaters are struggling coming out of COVID with season subscriptions dropping and people not committing to coming ahead of time for theatrical opportunities. And that sets a lot of theaters' budgets for the year, getting subscriptions. And so I was like, how do we get out of this whole idea of you have to make a commitment right now?
Right.
To do this thing, going to see live theater. The other aspect, and you and I have talked about this a lot, was getting out of the eliteness of theater.
Yeah.
And making it an accessible medium or source of entertainment or conversation piece to meet people where they are. And we can dig into that a little bit later. But yeah, so Joanna came to me with this idea, and then I laughed. And I said, I literally had this idea a year ago. And Joanna has this saying about creative ideas when you don't use them. Do you remember what you said to me?
Yeah, so it's actually a concept from Big Magic. So like there's a lady named Elizabeth Gilbert, and there are like an idea wants to be born, and if you don't jump on it, it goes and attaches to another person. And I was like, I think this idea is coming back around. Like, I think this means that this is like something. And what's really insane to me is like we had the conversation, and I was like, well, okay, maybe Blue's excited about it. And you were like, I mean, I feel like I like went to sleep and woke up, and you were like, I've got a script. Like, I felt like I was like, oh, okay, great. This is, you're like, I've already talked to a couple of people. I'm like, okay, so this is happening. And that's one of my favorite parts of this process is like, it is like straight. And that's kind of the vibe of it too, though. Like, it is like, hit the ground running. This is happening. One other concept that I also think was important that sort of slipped in at the same time is we are, as a culture, hungry for community. And we don't have a lot of ways in which we can, like, because like people aren't joining clubs because of that to your point about committing to things, right? Like, I don't join things because I'm like, I don't know that I can commit that much time to it. But 30 minutes for a show, you don't have to sit after the show and listen, and do the chat. You could just come to the show. You could just listen to it if you can't come in person. So this is giving a lot of people different entry points, but also giving them this opportunity to be a part of a community that doesn't require an elite viewpoint or a very large commitment.
Yeah. So I did not sleep that night, and I ended up writing a script. And which, one of my curriculums with Fairy Tale Mashup is that I literally go home the day after the kids and can't decide what they're going to do, stay up all night, write, and then they have a script the next day. So that's literally what happened. And I sent her the script, and we edited and we created characters even more so, developed them a little bit, developed the storyline, and we're like, oh, we're doing this. I reached out to a good friend of mine because we had another idea attached to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. And she was like, absolutely, let's go. And so I was like, oh, we're definitely doing this. So sometimes all it takes is another crazy idea to meet up with another crazy idea, and you can make things happen. We're going to pause right here and take a quick break. And we'll be back with Joanna Schilling, who is the co-writer of Sip and Savor.
At Selah Theater, I love taking acting classes in the fall, winter, spring, and loads of camp choices in the summer. All classes, camps, and workshops are open to youth willing to learn the craft of theater, music theater, art, and production. To learn more about these awesome opportunities, check out Selah Theater's website at selahtheaterproject.org.
At Selah Theater, we strive to meet our patrons where they are on and off stage. We have a wonderful Art Reach program where we bring the arts to you and your local business or local community. For the month of March, we will be in 2 locations, the Cider House on March 19th for Shamrocks and Murder. Join us for a thrilling experience with Shamrocks and Murder, a gripping mystery that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Help us unravel the secrets and enjoy a night full of suspense and intrigue at the Cider House on March 10th. Our second March event will be at Stone Branch Center for the Arts on March 28th through the 30th. We are presenting A Scandal in Bodgerton. Immerse yourself in a drama of A Scandal in Bodgerton. Discover scandalous secrets and captivating twists in this riveting tale of deception and intrigue. Don't miss out on March 28th through the 30th at Stone Branch Center for the Arts. You can find out more about all of our special events at selahtheaterproject.org/special events. Hey everybody, I am back with Joanna Schilling, the co-writer with me on Sip and Savor, a live theatrical sitcom. And we were just talking in our last segment about how we came up with the crazy idea. And now we're going to dig a little bit deeper into some of the characters we were able to create out of 2 crazy ideas finally on fire to go. So I wrote, like Joanna said, I wrote a play called Ruth's Tea Room, which is an actual restaurant that was here in Winchester, and it shut down in 2005. It was torn down, and Miss Vivian Jackson was such a prominent voice and community member here that ran Ruth's Tea Room. And so we wrote a play and all the different stories we had heard around Winchester about this special place. So Joanna, when she came to me with this idea of kind of forming a theatrical community through this Sip and Savor sitcom, is placed in a tea room or a tea house. And it is based on Verdi, who is the tea shop owner, who has left this tea shop from her parents. And they are hitting hard times, like many restaurant and small business owners are aware of. And she has to keep the doors open. So one of my favorite characters, Tabitha, comes up with this crazy idea, which isn't crazy. It's a lot of places do this, where the tea shop would be open once a month late at night for an organization or community group to meet that need a space to meet. And Pumpkin is the resident baker at the tea shop, Sip and Savor. And she's like all excited about creating these thematic pastries to go with whatever group is going to be there. And the very first group Joanna came up with.
Well, yeah. Do we want to reveal, or are we going to save that?
Well, I've been telling people.
Okay. So I've been telling people that
when they purchase their tickets, I'm in leather. That's all I've said.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're leather.
That's not weird. That's not, yeah. That's not weird at all. That's
not
a
weird at all.
regular, that's a super highbrow theater experience, right?
So you think it's funny? It hasn't turned anyone away yet. So.
No, that's great. No, that's, and like that you are our people. Please. Yeah.
So in the very first episode that actually goes up February 22nd at the Hideaway Cafe, we have been advising our guests to wear leather for the very first episode because they actually get to participate as cafe people that are part of whatever community is going to be at Sip and Savor for a late night thematic party or get together. Rather. But we have some incredible actors. I say that because they are taking all the charge of this, this new idea with these very comical but familiar kind of characters. So Verdi is your typical logistic, by the book kind of owner. This is her livelihood, but this is also her life. This is her baby. And she doesn't want to give up the tea shop. And then we have Tabitha, who you described Tabitha the best, I think, Joe.
So Tabitha is, she is like independently wealthy. Initially, in my mind, she was like a lottery winner. Like she was like someone who was so astronomically wealthy. In my mind, she wears a tiara and diamonds constantly over her uniform. Like she is the bougiest of the bougie, but she does not like her husband. So she needs an excuse to stay away from him. So she works in this diner, but she is literally, she's the worst waitress. She does not do a good job. She's mouthy. She's just like, but it's kind of like that old sitcom thing. She's sort of she's lovable, but she's like, you're like, she's kind of a little, annoying. But yeah, I love the fact that she'll do anything to stay away from her, like she could do anything and she's choosing to work in this tea house. And I think the thing that's cool about all of these characters is we have a really nice alchemy. Like we built a lot of different parts and a lot of different characters in the frame of like what a traditional sitcom would be. There's a lot, like the alchemy of like how they interact with each other and what role they play. But the thing that's really cool about it is I think that we will be able to, they are a family. And we, as we move along and we write, we produce more episodes, I think you're going to be able to find that, like, yeah, this is kind of two-dimensional. She's a little snooty and she doesn't want to be with her husband. But there's a reason why she's in the tea house and why she's attached herself to this, And so I'm just very curious. She's a fun character, and the way that she plays off of so many other characters is great.
She was fun to write. And so Paige Yulovich is playing Tabitha. Which is funny. After she read it, she was like, so I'm like Carrie Walker from Will and Grace.
Yes.
Yes, just older. Yes, but yes.
Exactly.
And her husband, we named him Dan. And that's going to be played by Richard Clem. And he is so like aloof. Like he doesn't even know that his wife doesn't like him.
He has no idea. He has no idea.
And he's so in love with her. And, he wants to be with her and share time with her. And he has no idea that his wife actually cannot stand to breathe or be in the same room with him.
Right.
You're playing Verdi. Joanna is playing Verdi.
Yeah.
And then we have Pumpkin, and we have a new actor who's never acted with us ever before, so I'm really excited about that. Erin Piasecki, and she is like Erin. Erin came in for auditions, I was like, "Yep, that's exactly who you're playing."
Yeah, she got it immediately.
Pumpkin.
Yeah,
she got it immediately. Like, Pumpkin is light, and I'm gonna make her sound like a pastry, but she's like light and fluffy and warm, and she is so optimistic.
Yes.
And Erin feels like when Erin came in with her audition, she just filled that role immediately. Pumpkin is also, down the line, you'll see that Pumpkin has her own struggles, but she still plasters a smile on her face anyway. So
Yeah.
there's like a lot of hidden layers between each of the characters that we'll be able to reveal along the line.
Yeah.
And then we have Sheriff Dakota, who is the ex of Birdie, but is the like lighting flame of Tabitha in her own mind.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he
Yeah. Tabitha's
is,
got the hots for him.
yeah,
Big time. Yeah.
he is definitely like your Stan from Golden Girls. Like he is
Yeah.
just, he shows up, he's unwanted.
Yeah. There's acrimony. Yeah. There's like lovable acrimony between
Yeah.
he and Verity. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is played by Will Speakman. And then we have Mary, who lives above the tea shop in an apartment above the tea shop. She's kind of like grandfathered in. Mary is an aspiring writer, but she stays in pajamas and with her laptop. She doesn't pay rent, so that doesn't help Bertie at all with keeping the tea shop. And she bumps heads, and we're going to continue throughout the series bump heads with Tabitha a little bit.
Yeah, those two really don't like each other.
Yeah,
they really don't. Yeah,
and Ella Drury is playing that role. Which, of course, when we were looking for someone for that character, I was like, I know the right person. Let's see if he's available. And then we have Sam. Sam is the nephew of Pumpkin, our light, fluffy baker. Sam is a young person that is conflicted with some of his, adulting is hard. Adulting is hard. So his early adult life, and he always seeks guidance from his Aunt Pumpkin. And we meet him, and he is also warm and gentle and wonderful. But he doesn't feel safe enough to go to his parents to talk about some of the things that he feels comfortable enough to talk to Pumpkin about. We have some special guests that will be popping up. We have a librarian that pops up in leather. And I think that's totally appropriate for the things that are happening right now. And that would be played by Tammy. And it's so exciting to pull this all together. And now we get to bring them to life. And just for 30 minutes.
Yeah. And see people's response to them. You know what I mean? Like, we've lived with them and we're like, wouldn't it be funny if they did this or what? But and so I guess some of the thought is like, they are opening the tea house to these different groups, but every group teaches them something.
Right.
About,
or exposes what their beliefs may be.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And so, and in a way that isn't so binary, like right and wrong, but like in I maybe need to examine this, or maybe this isn't something I hadn't thought about.
Are you ready to discover your truth through art? Join us at the Stone Branch Center for the Arts for our exciting workshop series, Workshop Your Truth. Every third Thursday from February to May, unleash your creativity with hands-on workshops in visual art, voice, poetry, and theater. And don't miss our culminating event in June, where you'll showcase your unique creations alongside fellow artists. Everyone is welcome to participate by donation and let your voice be heard. Visit SeilahTheaterProject.org/truth to secure your spot today. Unleash your inner artist. Your truth awaits. I am so thrilled and excited about Sip and Savor and what this could possibly mean for our community, our local community. But the exciting part, I think, overall, is that we are going to make this into an actual club. So like Sip and Savor Tea Club. And with that, people can purchase memberships through SeilahTheaterProject.org/SipSavor. And each month, our members get to know where we're performing Sip and Savor next. They get to choose which level they want to do, and the lowest level is like $10. And they get to see the show live each time. And if you become a member, you get to engage in a cog-like conversation after you've listened to the episode. And so it's not just for our community here locally, it is for anyone who is listening to this podcast right now that may want to participate but can't be here physically, and still get to fall in love with some of these characters. Now, the beautiful part about this idea as we developed it was that we didn't want it to be where people had to come to us per se, like come to our theater or where we naturally perform. So we decided to make this a true community event and take it out to local coffee shops and tea houses that have the space and capacity for us to perform it live at their business. So this first episode, February 22nd, will be at the Hideaway Cafe here in Winchester, Virginia. And the next episode is going to be somewhere else. And the episode after that is going to be somewhere else. And it's going to be throughout the Shenandoah Valley. And we have had a host of businesses that we reached out to. I don't think not one person has said this is stupid. No, absolutely not. They've jumped at it. Yeah, so we're working with shop owners. It's always going to be after hours when they are closed. And it's just one night a month, and they can choose. It could be a weekday, it could be a weekend, closer to the end of the month, and they get to serve their coffees or teas or a limited menu, whatever they want to do after hours. So as people purchase tickets to come and see, or memberships to come and see Sip and Savor, they can also patronize this local business. And most of them are local small businesses that already are doing community work or may have wanted to integrate more into the community and just needed a different avenue or different way of doing things. So all of these tea houses and coffee shops or venue spaces are actually going to be open after hours once a month to do this with us, which is the whole context of Sip and Savor and what Verdi has to do, which is so funny. We are thrilled to have great partners, and we're not revealing all of our partners because this is membership only. So if you join and become a part of the Sip and Savor Tea Club, you get first dibs on knowing where we're going to do our next episode. And so this is a freebie for everyone that will be at the Hideaway Cafe on February 22nd. So we're so grateful to Victoria and Greg Kid Armstrong, who are the owners over there, who really, anytime I contact Victoria, say I have a crazy idea, she's like, yeah, let's make it happen. Let's do it. It is all adult theme, so no children, please don't bring any children. um but it is a great time to meet new people, to maybe visit a coffee spot or a tea spot that you haven't been to in a while. It's a great way to be a patron, a consumer again at a local business. And after the 30 minutes, after we're done, the actors are done, we're gonna have a conversation afterwards. Being in community or building community again. And all of this is all stemming from COVID. It's learning how to be in community with people that may agree or disagree with you. So hopefully with Sip and Savor, we can help start building community again within the community, within a local business, with working with local nonprofits as well, but in a fun, informal, relaxed way. I am so excited. I'm excited that Joanna, that you felt safe enough to come to me with your crazy idea. And I'm grateful that I felt safe enough to also confess that I had a crazy idea as well. Joanna, thank you so much for doing theater talk with me and talking about Sip and Savor, our baby together, that we are giving out into the world. We hope that you all have a better understanding of what Sip and Savor is all about. It is available, our very first episode, on February 22nd. We will be at the Hideaway Cafe in Winchester, Virginia, performing it live with a live talkback Q&A afterwards. So only about an hour of your time. Come out and support the Hideaway Cafe with your purchase of any coffees or teas, or they also have alcoholic beverages available, which is great. And we can't always promise that. Also, we're so grateful for all the actors who are also jumping on the bandwagon of this crazy, crazy idea and concept of taking theater and meeting people where they are in our community and loving on our community and rebuilding our community the best way we know how, which is through theater. I can't wait to talk to you again and hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning in to Theater Talk, hosted by Blue Dozier, brought to you by Theater Project, where the magic of theater comes to life. Stay inspired, stay engaged, and keep the love of theater alive. Join us next week for more insightful episodes, and remember, the stage awaits you.